Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Orange County Championship Wrestling proudly presents its flagship web show, The Royal Ramble. On the panel we have Tag Team Champion Azrael, and here's your host, the man who's loved Linda Lavin ever since he watched Alice. He is our boss. He's Jonathan Malice.
I get it. I've actually been more of a fan of Vera, less of Flo. I didn't want to kiss her grits, but, you know, for those of you who don't have any idea what we're talking about, you're just a little bit younger than the rest of us. I am your host, Jonathan Malice, the most hated man in the Southern California wrestling business. To my left is one half of the Orange County Championship Wrestling Tag Team Champions, Azrael. Some people call him the Angel of Darkness. Some people call him the Angel of Light. Other people call him the Angel of Death. I just call him one half of the Tag Team Champs. And conspicuous in his absence, his tag team partner, B.A. Marcus Frey. How you doing this weekend, Azrael? How you doing this week, Azrael?
It's going good. We got training started every Wednesday at 7, every Saturday at 1:30, so we're open for business. While the people are closing, we are expanding. So come on down to the De Lo Jiu-Jitsu School at beautiful 8381 Catella Avenue.
Yes, and don't let these other buildings around here falling apart, you know.
Our building's still good.
Our building is not only good, we are walking and patrolling the grounds, keeping all the
I'm weeding.
undesirables out. As everyone knows, Stanton, California, is known as the home for Orange County's homeless population. That's right. They have turned an entire city into the Santa Ana River Basin, and our small area here stands as an island in a sea of pus. But I digress. Let's talk a little bit about this weekend's happenings here at this island that we speak so fondly of.
Fresh off of separation anxiety, and I've got separation anxiety. I miss some of you people. Come on down Saturday at 1:30.
That's right, separation anxiety. Let's talk a little bit about what went down for you and your tag team partner. You know, you seem to have the match well in hand.
I got a little cocky. I was showboating. I was stunting and fronting and fronting all on Drew Masters and Macho Camacho. I thought we had the matter well in hand.
Right.
But Chris Cadillac decides to get involved in our business. He comes down. He takes my tag team partner off the ring apron. He's probably still looking for him. That's probably where he is. I don't know if he's in holding or whatever he did from Chris Cadillac, because by the end of that show, we slammed Cadillac into the mat. And B.A. Marcus Frey is coming for the GCF Heavyweight Championship, and we are going to procure that Heavyweight Championship by any means necessary, because you don't get involved in my business and walk away without any kind of repercussions.
Yeah, you know what? I saw that, and you know what? You really put a pretty good hurt on Cadillac there. You know, usually he's really got a real smart mouth. You can put a beating on him, and he'll still run off at the mouth. He was not.
Cadillac's more like Chris 2009 Honda Civic.
Yeah,
with duct tape all over the windows and plastic bags and a blue book value of about $350.
B210, right on.
He's the dad bod god. The only god he looks like is Buddha. So I'm gonna be running. B.A. Marcus Frey is going to be bench pressing that boy. He's going to throw him around, and we are going to get that heavyweight championship back. You messed up, preventing us from winning the tag team titles at GCF. That's where you went wrong, and now we are going to take every other title in that organization, and we're going to circle back around and take the tag team championships. We're going to take the heavyweight championship. We're going to take the ultra-violent championship. We're going to take the tag team championship. We're going to take whatever they invent next, the 24/7, 365, 7-Eleven championship. I'm going to take every kind of championship that they have.
All of them. And you know what? I want to give a shout out to the guys at GCF. Joseph Saint.
Yeah, you don't even know his name right.
Well, you know. And
Marcellus Wallace.
It's RJ Walrus.
No.
What?
Tell him that to his face. Come Walrus to his face. That's
what's he going to do?
Cry, probably.
Yes, the hardest working man in the SoCal wrestling scene, RJ Wallace, put together.
That's like the gold medal at the Special Olympics, ain't it?
The views and opinions of Azrael are the views and opinions of him and him alone. They do not represent Orange County Championship Wrestling, the free admission channel, or anyone else in their right mind.
For 2 hours.
Ladies and gentlemen, I do not. It would not behoove me to talk a little bit about separation anxiety. Now, it was the first show we'd run out of the dojo in months,
years,
right?
It seems.
And we did the live stream, and it got a real positive feedback, which led me to think a little bit about wrestling in the time of COVID. Okay. All right, wrestling in the time of COVID. What is going to? It's fair to say that nothing not basketball, football, wrestling fights are ever going to snap back to the freewheeling lives that we led before.
We were all willy-nilly.
We were all willy-nilly. And, you know, it didn't bother me that I had to clean the ring in between every match, disinfect the ropes. You know, when, you know,
That's
frankly.
a good idea.
Yeah, no, it didn't bother me at all.
Schools, that's how they run. You have a class, you wipe it off. You have a class, you wipe it off.
That's right. All right. But we had to do this several times. Hey, come on in. Speaking of classes, right? Speaking of classes, we have a new. Come on, have a seat, young man. All right. We have a new enrollee in the Orange County Championship Wrestling School. Go ahead and tell the folks your name.
My name's Matthew Mora.
Okay, Matthew Mora, tell us a little bit about your journey in the wrestling world.
In the wrestling world, well, I've been a fan for as long as I can remember. I think since I was a baby.
Right.
And my whole dream was to become a wrestler, and I'm finally fulfilling that dream today.
Nice. How'd you like it? How'd you like your first class, your first experience in the pro wrestling?
It was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do,
Okay.
but I know that I'm never gonna stop now.
Nice. Finally, I have a convert. I got one. Now we can only go up from here. Bring a friend for Saturday. The more people you can rotate with, the less you have to fight me, which is better. And you've done Taekwondo before?
Taekwondo, yeah, I did it for a little bit in high school.
He's paying for the classes, right?
Right. No, he's not.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So let this also be a lesson to you, all right? All right. Make sure that all your bills are paid up and that your balance is right on, all right? Make sure that he has a card that he hasn't activated yet, therefore it's going to be declined. It just hasn't been activated.
Yeah, I'll see you
So, yeah,
Saturday.
you know, if I didn't have that happen to me 1,000 times in the past, I would be like, yo, you're trying to stiff me and shaking him and all that. But
It happens.
I know exactly
It
where he's
happens.
coming
Life
from.
is what it
I've
is.
been there. Trust me, young man. Well, welcome aboard. We look forward to your growth and training, and we look forward to finally putting you on the show
Do you
one day.
watch a lot of wrestling in the Southern California area?
I try to get out there as much as I can.
Do you know who Ray Rosas is?
Yeah, I have an idea, yeah.
Okay, you look a little bit like Ray Rosas.
He does.
Let me
He
just
certainly
say
does.
That the physical resemblance is striking to me.
I've gone on Andrade, I've gotten Angel
Nice.
Garza,
Okay.
Seth Rollins.
Nice.
Got it all.
All right. Ah, shoot. Well, thank you. Now you know you've overstayed your welcome.
Okay.
All right. So
Go ahead.
have
We'll
a nice
see you
day. It was
Saturday.
nice to
We'll
meet
work
you.
on it more.
Then bring
Hey.
cash on Saturday.
Hey,
Goddammit.
Cash is king in this
That's
world.
right.
This
Jesus Christ. You think I'm running this goddamn soup kitchen here?
I like him. I like
He's
him
a nice kid. You know what?
More like that.
Give me 10 more like that. Yeah, but with cards that work.
That details.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? So wrestling in the age of COVID. As time changes, I would imagine that people will be wearing masks in the crowd. People will
People already
be
wear masks in the ring. Mariachi's been doing it for years and years. He hasn't gotten sick even once.
PPE masks.
Okay.
All right, personal protection equipment masks that are maybe not the wrestlers because it's difficult to wrestle and work and call a match or whatever.
A lot of these people should be wearing masks, if you ask me.
Well, yes, I agree.
All the time.
So
Sickness or not.
So your thoughts? What's going to be different? What's going to stay the same? What is going to be better? What is going to be worse about this thing we love called
I
professional
think
wrestling?
the smaller independent promotions across the country, which there are thousands, it's like the lifeblood of the economy. It's the roots, the grassroots. They will be able to continue to run with crowds like 50, 150, 200. You're not going to overwhelm the hospital with that, but they're not going to be able to pack the Honda Center for any, until there's a vaccine. It's probably been a year or two, so WWE is going to be continuing to put out the content. The big companies that already have television, their revenue stream comes from TV anyway, but basically it's a martial arts school.
That's
So
right.
the smaller promotions. A lot of them are dependent upon their school for profits, so they're gonna have to keep coming. The last place that you ever go is when you're in respiratory distress is your class of karate or whatever. So we don't have sick people here. Everybody's fine. We've been open the whole time. Everything gets cleaned after every match. Everything's gonna be just fine. What? We're fine. Come on down. Look, I'll lick you across the cheek.
No, we're good.
That's how much confidence I got
No,
in
I'm
my
good.
immune
No, thank
system
you.
there, brother.
Hey, okay. Joshua Holdman says, "How do I become a wrestler? I assume you want to learn the art or sport of professional wrestling."
Come on out Saturday
Hey,
at 1:30 or Wednesday at 7.
8381 Catala Avenue here in beautiful Uptown Stanton. I say Uptown Stanton because we're the only business in Stanton that isn't inundated with homeless people parked out in front of it.
Well, B.A. Marcus Ray made them all leave. He's like some kind of security guard.
Yes, and so, I do not feel sorry for homeless like that, right? And homeless people who are like on legitimately, that's a whole other thing. Didn't we do enough of our political opinions the last several weeks?
Professional wrestler. You should learn to be an amateur wrestler. There is no other sport that you don't have to play in college, and then you get to go to the pros.
And frankly, it's good that there's a lot of homeless people around for your pro wrestling training, because there's a good chance that...
Oh, God's no.
All right.
They don't pay nothing. We just had a whole discussion about how you want people to pay. And now you want me to train homeless people for free in the alley.
No, I don't want you to train homeless people for free, but I'm going to say, look, this is who you're one step up from. If you're a pro wrestler, no?
No, I don't want to fight no homeless people. You don't want to fight with no junkie.
No, you mean all right, all right. That's
crazy.
Yeah, well, chances are in the ring you probably have gotten in with a few of them anyway.
Oh, you're wild. This is another good reason to learn the fine art of self-defense. What do you do if you're in the ring with some kind of crazed moron?
Which happens all the time.
Take them down, choke them out, and leave.
Speaking of crazed morons, the world over, there's lots going on in the wrestling world. There's lots going on in the world, and to bring that to you, our intrepid international correspondent, Mr. Jack Bruce Davidson, is here. Oh my God!
Am I on his OnlyFans?
Hello, everybody. It's me.
I can't hear him. Can you hear him, Robert?
Here to bring you some exclusive wrestling news. And I should let you know today, no Hawaiian shirt. It's going to be the pineapple shirt, because even though I'm a international correspondent, I got to do my own laundry, and it's been a long week. But before we get into the news, I want to thank Mr. Jonathan Malice, Thunder and Lightning, Joey the Bull, Robert from Free Admissions. Keep doing your thing. And without further ado, let's get right into the news. For our first story, in light of the Speaking Out movement, Triple H held a mandatory conference call for all talent in the company in regards to policies that will be strictly enforced. There is a no-tolerance policy for talent guilty of sexual harassment. Reportedly, the option to shut down NXT UK as a brand in general was on the table due to the immense unrest with the termination and suspension of talent such as El Ligero and Joe Coffey.
He's gone to the matches.
And with the difficulty of booking shows for COVID-19. So pretty much the NXT UK it's really up in the air right now because of the current concerns with COVID-19, and pretty much a lot of their roster has been cleared out due to this Speaking Out movement, because a lot of wrestlers such as Tyler Bate are under investigation or have been released already, such as gentleman Jack Gallagher. Not a gentleman, but For our next story, Impact World Heavyweight Champion Tessa Blanchard has been fired from Impact. The two sides haven't been able to ink out a deal because Tessa Blanchard's contract was expiring, and financially they couldn't be on a 50-50 basis. And another cause is due to Blanchard residing at home, wanting nothing to do with being on the road due to the current scare of COVID-19. So she had been stripped of the title and fired without mention on Impact TV. And reportedly, the WWE is already considering bringing her in due to her past being in the Mae Young tournament, so we're going to see what happens there. For our next story, AEW has postponed Jon Moxley versus Brian Cage due to the COVID-19 concerns. They moved it 2 weeks down the road, and it should be mentioned that Moxley's wife, WWE announcer / backstage host, Renee Young, has tested positive for the COVID-19, so the company is definitely trying to keep their workers safe and their producers safe and their backstage executives safe, which is an admirable move. Hopefully everybody gets well soon, and down the road we can make sure that we get our Impact Wrestling match between Cage and Moxley. And for our final story, Impact Wrestling has reportedly hired Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. The two were released during the March mass releases. So look forward to seeing them on Impact Television really soon. But I believe that's all the news we have for today. And in light of everything that's happening in the world, I want to let you know from the bottom of my heart, I care about each and every single one of you. Stay safe, appreciate everybody. Take care. I'm JBD. I'm all you need.
Apparently, JBD also needs to get that friggin' mattress away from the window. What is he sheltering? Was it the end of the world?
He's soundproofing his headboard. I'm pretty sure
Is that what it
JBD's
is?
a beast.
Yeah, right?
You never had to do that? You
Jack, what are you doing in there?
Quiet, Mom!
Mom, I'm combing my hair.
Friends are over.
Are you in that Richard boy watching pornography in there again? Whatever the case is, I want to say one good thing about him is that he knows where he lives.
Okay.
Yes. All right.
In the orange circle, I think.
Yeah, but he actually knows how to get there. You know how many wrestlers I've driven home from training that didn't know where they lived? They didn't know.
Look, man,
They're
I
like,
get hit in the head a lot and I move around a
they're,
lot. What do you want
they're
me to
like
do?
on their phone, like trying to remember their address. It's bad enough they
In
don't
the
have a
time-
car.
in-
They don't know where
okay.
their parents' house is. Yeah.
We didn't all grow up on the Thomas Guide there, John. Like,
Okay.
Most of us have had GPS.
Really?
And didn't have to go
So-
G1 to F7.
You know what? You know
get
what?
to their
Azrael, I have driven you home several times.
Yeah.
All right.
Over the mountain and through the woods.
I've never seen you go to your phone for directions to get to your house.
I'm an old ass man. I'm not like 21 like most of these people who don't know what a Thomas Guide is.
How do you not know where you live? Did you know where you lived when you were 21?
No, well, when I was like 7, I
Yeah.
was home, so I was like, it's that way, and I would just go.
Ridiculous. Anyway,
Through the woods and past the bears.
that was not a condemnation of Jack Bruce Davis, and more a hats off to him and a condemnation of his generation.
You just hate young people.
No,
Hey, right now, you're a
no,
crotchety old man.
no, I like young people. I love the women, but that's about it. All right.
What do you think about all the news that he just dropped on us right now?
Well, I think Tessa Blanchard has inherited her dad's ability to make really poor
I heard
decisions.
Tully was not necessarily well liked by everyone either.
Yeah, and
Tully, whatever.
Tully.
Tully. I've heard of Tully.
it's Tully Blanchard.
Tully.
Tully Blanchard, you know, for as talented as he was and as amazing his matches were, have you seen any of his old matches?
Yeah, I know
He was an amazing talent. He screwed the pooch more times than anyone could. You know,
So what do you think about her leaving the Impact Wrestling? She is their heavyweight champion, not the women's champion, the whole thing. The men's champion.
she's the champ.
She beat Sami Callihan.
As I understood it, she refused to cut promos.
Yes, I knew you'd have a feeling about that. Commence.
Well, you know, if someone asks you to cut a promo, it doesn't matter if you're the champion of an international company or if you are brand new to the wrestling world or if you're wrestling for OCCW. If I ask you to cut a promo and you don't do it, look, hey, cut a promo, put it on Facebook, put it on Instagram.
Maybe she's really busy right now.
I'm gonna get to
Maybe
that.
There's lots of stuff going on.
Yeah, down in Mexico, locked in the room with her boyfriend, and it's like, I can't do it. I can't do it. But here's pictures of my food. Here's pictures of me at the gym. Here's pictures of my dog. It's like, dude, what? So, you know what? Not only does she deserve to be fired, she deserves for the rest of the freaking companies around to be like, you're not coming here either. Bye, hey, wait, Luther, come here, wait. Luther,
Claim the love for me.
Luther, come here. What's your name? Something Xavier? Andre Xavier. I know him as Luther, but his birth name is Andre Xavier. I have a couple questions for you. All right. How many blind mice were there?
3.
Okay, 3. Okay. How many godmothers did Sleeping Beauty or was it Cinderella have?
3.
Okay. Last one. How many amigos were there in the movie?
3.
Okay, so you can't count to 3. Okay, just making sure. Ladies and gentlemen, Andre Xavier. All right.
He counts to 3 too fast, in my opinion.
Wait, I'm kidding. Sit down, man. I want to talk to you a little bit. You were the referee for which match? Which match is this?
Our
weekend?
match, our tag match.
I'm letting him say it.
Well, I was there too, and it upset me.
I referee for Thunder and Lightning's match, and I referee Tony's match.
Now, Thunder and Lightning took on
Drew Masters and
yes
Rancho Camacho.
the Japanese tacos or whatever.
Tokyo Locos.
Is that?
Tokyo Locos.
Tokyo tacos.
And they had a lot of fighting spirit to stand up to me for 8 minutes.
So yeah, and so they came away as the new GCF Tag Team Champions. Beautiful belts, by the way.
I'll give him credit. I'll give him credit for taking that beating like a true man. You know what? I pounded on Drew Masters, and while I was dancing around having my good time, all it takes is 3 seconds for a lightning to strike, and he got me. He got me 1, 2, 3. I was looking up at the lights, not paying attention. He got me, and now we're gonna kill Chris Cadillac because he is the cause of my embarrassment and shame, and I'm gonna put B.A. Marcus Frey on his case, and we are gonna put Cadillac out.
So let me ask you this: that was the match where there was some controversy as to the finish, correct?
In the Tony
And the
match,
next
yes.
one.
Oh, in the next match. Okay, so what do you have to say to all the haters out there who are complaining about you're missing the call? I don't think you missed the call. I was sitting right there, right?
Well, I thought he counted a little fast.
No, I counted slow.
All right,
It was
I
a-
see
it was
how
a-
you are.
It was a slow count.
I
It's
see
a
how
slow
you are.
count.
I
Okay,
see how you are.
okay.
That's fine.
Well, see, here's the
Remember
thing.
that.
Here's the thing. Integrity. Let's break this down. Integrity does not mean always being right. Integrity does not always mean being right, perfect. integrity means being willing to admit when you've made a mistake and be willing to atone for such mistakes, right? Or rectify the mistakes. He came in first thing after that match. He says to me, John, I want to get back to training. I want to be sharp again. This COVID thing may have affected my A game in the ring, so I want to get in there and I want to be sharp. And look, here he is today. Just finished training up downstairs. Andre Xavier, I want to thank you and I want to wish you continued success. You will always be our referee of choice.
But Andre, do you want to wrestle or do you want to be a referee?
I really want to wrestle.
All right, let's do that.
You want to wrestle him?
We'll wrestle. Whenever, wherever. Come Saturday at 1:30.
All right, be here
I'm
on
gonna put on
Saturday at
cameras in this.
1:30.
We're gonna do this.
8381 Catella Avenue, Unit J,
fast
as
on
in
me.
Jehoshaphat.
Yeah, that's so
right?
funny.
Here in beautiful Uptown Stanton. All right, thank you. Have a great week, and we'll
Thank
see
you,
you
John.
Saturday.
I know he does.
Oh, no, we won't see you Saturday because it's the 4th of July.
No,
we will not
no.
be here Friday.
Oh, you're not coming?
Hell no.
Oh, then I need.
I
to-
hate the 4th
I
of
need to
July, but
adjust
that's a whole other
plans a
story.
little bit.
The only thing I hate more than the 4th of July is Christmas. Bah humbug.
Jeez, okay.
So,
Let's dive into that a little bit.
No.
Endorphins. He hates
Let's
orphans
not.
too.
Let's-
He does have integrity. I've tried to bribe him numerous times. He usually says no.
All right. That's it.
If I may, on the Tessa Blanchard thing.
Yes.
JBD said in his report that WWE is trying to pick her up. Could you imagine the matches between Tessa and Charlotte?
That'd be good.
That would be
Those
good.
would be amazing.
Ric Flair
matches.
versus Tully Blanchard. Imagine all the angles you could have there. Better yet, was it Nia Jax and Tessa Blanchard?
Yeah, that work out.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Tessa versus Seth Rollins. What are they, like the same size?
Or Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
You know. All right. That said,
What else? WWE doesn't let people sexually harass each other anymore. That's a thing.
Yeah, that was-
Randy Orton can't put his hand in his pants and then shake hands with other people anymore.
and Pat Patterson can't corner you in the showers anymore.
And Randy Orton can't put his wang on John Cena's shoulder anymore. How are people supposed to bond?
You know what? I think we found better ways of bonding than that
Okay.
around here, haven't
Bunch of millennials with your smartphone.
Okay, look. For something that was such a serious topic last week,
Yeah, I
we seem to be
know.
having a little bit of fun with it this week.
Yeah, you know, Randy Orton. Yeah, because if you're a big enough star, it's okay.
Okay, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, he is... Those of you who've been around the local scene, i.e. GCF, 3PWA, and OCCW, you may have or may not have seen this man lurking in the hallways, sitting in the front row, leading people to and from the ring. He even had a brief stint as a referee. Now he has taken the reins of manager, and he is taken... Well, we'll let him tell you about it. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Billy Bad Boy Bonds.
Thanks for having me, gentlemen.
Hey, how are you, Mr. Bonds? Nice to see
right.
you. No hat today, huh?
No hat today.
Very good.
And according to one Rossi Montgomery, that is manager of former champions.
Oh, former champions. Oh, that's right.
That's okay. I'll take up with that youngster when the time comes.
No, yeah, yeah. That guy. He's about 3 sandwiches short of a whole C note, isn't he? You know
Yes. No.
No.
What are you talking about?
The Mats and Marks.
Before we get
Okay.
into anything, I wonder if there's anything to the fact that he gestures to you, Azrael, when he mentions rectifying situations.
Look,
I
man,
just
I'll
couldn't-
get him
I
back.
just- I
I'm
just
gonna
couldn't-
break
I
both
just
of his
couldn't help but
arms.
notice that.
I'm gonna get a hold of Drew Masters. I'm gonna break both of his
I
arms
was talking
next
about
time.
Malice gesturing.
No. We'll be all right.
I'm gonna rectify that wrong real bad.
I like that. A man of conviction is a man that you can trust. Okay, let's talk a little bit about this past weekend. You are now managing
Tony Reyes.
Okay, now tell us about how that happened and where you plan on taking it.
Well, I plan on taking that as far as it'll go. We could possibly pursue Tony regaining the Ultraviolet Championship.
Currently held by Helmuth, is that right?
That's the
And
man
his
who
little
the
buddy
man,
Flores.
the man who
that's
stole it. I mean, we're talking stole.
I saw that
it
match. I don't
from,
know if I agree completely.
from Tony.
Okay.
Well, that's okay. That's all right. But I mean, Tony Reyes, he's been doing this a long time. His record speaks for itself. His style in the ring speaks for itself. He could go all the way. So who knows? Maybe he'll bump his way up into that Azrael BA Cadillac picture sometime. I mean, sky's the limit. But as far as how we got there, That's an interesting story. Started with a dust-up between myself and Joseph Saint. Basically, the long and short of it is we disagree on the state of pro wrestling today and what it should be. I did a lot of talking, maybe pushed a few buttons. He pushed back. He issued me a challenge at their last show prior to the pandemic, prior to the shutdown. He said that I could stick around and try to do what it is I do if I could book someone from their roster.
Okay.
And that was the show where Tony did lose he successfully defended the UV title from Terex, and then immediately afterwards lost it to Helmuth.
I saw that match. Both those matches, actually.
After giving a little piece of my mind to the good commissioner, I followed Tony backstage. I caught up with him in the locker room, and I convinced him to give me a shot at guiding his career a little bit.
I see. All right. So now you have Tony Reyes. Are you one of those I just handle one guy types? Are you looking to have a whole stable?
No, I'm an empire builder.
An empire builder. I see.
So why is Tony Reyes fighting his good friend Biggie Biggs?
Yeah, explain that to me.
They've been best good friends for like 57 years.
They've been good best friends for like 75 years.
Absolutely.
I fought both of them together and separate.
They were they're two of a kind. They are definitely.
I went to the buffet with them once.
They're definitely of a kind, except apparently Biggie's got parts that don't quite match that kind. He was showing a different style that people like Tony and myself consider an embarrassment to the sport of wrestling.
You hate fun.
Sure. You know what? I'm not going to argue that. We are combat sports participants, and winning is the game. And if you want to look at that as hating fun, we definitely hated what we saw in front of us that night, whether it was fun or not.
He did a bit of a dude love type of turn, huh?
I don't know, because I kind of dig Dude Love, and I wasn't digging Biggie. He needs to. He's still, far as I know, one half of the heavy hitters. They're legendary on the SoCal scene, and I think he should stick with that if Tony will let him. And that's that. But Tony had the final word last Saturday night.
I mean, that 3 count was a little suspicious. I mean, we just had the referee here, but that shoulder looked like it was coming up.
I said my piece from off camera. It was a little squirrely. I don't know.
And by the way, if you're going to be giving our guests hints to the questions I asked them, you better be there in the ring counting for them next time. Oh,
Come
my
on.
God.
I don't like looking at him, watching him get all confused.
Hey, I didn't see anything. Just like I didn't see anything wrong on Saturday night.
I want to talk about something you touched on a little bit. You don't like the state of what's the word I'm looking for? Frou-frou type of wrestling?
Pro wrestling.
Too many people who don't share my opinion have tried to label it, and I don't really like any of the labels because, for example, Joseph Saint himself has said that I'm critical of high flyers and what they call on our indie scene flippy shit.
Okay.
And that's not entirely true. There's a right way and a wrong way to do that. Jimmy Snuka, never mind his personal
demons. Chris Benoit,
he didn't necessarily invent it. He definitely mass-produced it.
He maximized it.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
And he did it right. He was a big guy. He was a big guy. He was in monster shape. He was scary looking as hell, and turns out there were reasons for that. So it can be done right. Basically, what I don't like is what I'll call a high-speed synchronized dance competition.
You know what? I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm not going to name any names because I've actually met and talked with some of those guys, and to name them right now would just be to sound like I was shoveling shit. But I watched a very prominent tag team of high flyers on an international national network.
I know who
Why do
you're
you hate
talking.
the Young
I
Bucks so
already
much?
know who you're talking.
I didn't say who it was,
Are they coming?
and I don't
We'll
know.
kick their ass, by the way. BA's 280 pounds. Each of their legs is about 140.
One has got to
Bring it
imagine
to
that
me.
they have callous legs from
Bring it to
slapping
me.
their ass when they
Bring
throw
it
their
to
kicks.
me.
What? And then and it was and who's that other guy? Kenny Last guy, right? I hear all these great things about them. I watch their matches and they're unwatchable. They're unwatchable.
That's a very good term for
Let
it.
me give you an example. You've had to deal with this before. When you were a kid and you had your friends watching wrestling with you, right? You loved wrestling. You never missed it. I never missed a chance to watch wrestling.
Right.
I get one of my friends. He'd spend the night or whatever. We'd hang out, and I go, "Hey, I'm gonna watch wrestling." He's like, "That shit's fake," right? And you're like, "No, it's not fake. Watch it," right? And depending on what you were watching, determine whether or not they believed it. If I had the WWF on, they're like, see. But once we got cable and I was able to watch the NWA, I'd be looking at this and they're like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe it's that other stuff with Hulk Hogan that's not
Right.
real.
Yep.
This stuff is legit.
Yep.
And it was the truth. And whether or not you knew what was going on or nothing, you could suspend your disbelief. You could watch this and it was 10 times more exciting. You know what? Comparing the WWF then to the NWA now is like comparing the Dark Knight trilogy to the Twilight Saga. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. All right, that's exactly
That's all
what
you.
I'm saying. There's no better way to put it. And I know people say, "Oh, well, you're just old fuddy-duddy longing for that." No, the old days.
I've heard that a time or two.
But it's not the old days, is it? Because they're still doing it at MLW. They're still doing it at NWA Power. They're still doing it at...
You get peaks of it at Ring of Honor.
Yeah, Ring of Honor, which unfortunately is about to fall through the ice, isn't it?
Right.
They might need a new booker. Let me just say Ring of Honor might have some
I've
openings
actually been on
if I get my
record
way.
as saying that I think wrestling could be saved if the NWA dropped the whole actual promotion gag they have going, where they're actually like a wrestling promotion, returned themselves to their original sanctioning body form,
And then
and used Ring of Honor as
see what you're saying.
the roster. So Ring of Honor would be the actual promotion,
Like World Championship Wrestling.
but they would get rid of their world champion and they would recognize the NWA, the 10 pounds of gold.
which is it still Nick Aldis right now?
It is.
Yeah, Nick Aldis is fantastic.
He is actually. I think if the NWA does return to its sanctioning body form,
Right.
Aldis should retain the title.
It's just a matter of how you train. Do you have a gymnastics basis or do you have a fighting basis? The more people that have a fighting basis, the better this looks. The better this looks, the more money it makes. In the territory system, people are buying houses in the territory, and about 22 different 22 territories around the country were making money back in like 1970 to 1980 before we proceeded to kill all of this shit off with all the bullshit nonsense.
Well, sorry. Well, not necessarily
Proceed.
bullshit nonsense. They didn't, to be undone by the relatively new medium of videotape, right? It's a joke. They deserve to go out of business because guys like Vern Gagne, chose to stay, and guys like the Von Erichs chose to still shoot their stuff from a live studio audience, and which is like watching an episode of Happy Days. You just couldn't get it right, and they put squash matches out all the time.
I never would have made that comparison, and now I'll never be able to unsee it.
That said, so you kind of share in the Jim Cornetteism, the Jim Cornette's eye view of how the wrestling business is.
I do. In fact, just a real quick sidebar, but it ties right in. The current incarnation of Billy Bonds that's wreaking havoc at Gold Coast is kind of like a mishmash or the bastard child of Prohibition era gangster and Jim Cornette.
Fair enough. Now that would explain why you were at odds with Joseph Saint, because I know he absolutely does not appreciate James E. Cornette.
No, he doesn't like Uncle Jimmy.
He's not a member of the cult of Cornette.
No, definitely not.
Okay, so shifting gears right away, let's go to something, because here's the thing. Now I'm going to contradict everything I just said. All right, I want to say the year was 2018. My girl and I Hey, babes. You out there? You watching? You better be. All right.
Hi, Rachel. That one, right?
That was
I wasn't
creepy.
going to say her name because I wasn't sure.
What?
That one?
Well,
Did you just say that one? I'm gonna catch a shitstorm. Oh, that one.
I ain't here.
he was
I'm here
braver
for like 2
than I
hours every
was.
couple of days. I don't know nothing. I'm
I
just
was like,
kidding.
Yes.
I was like,
Yes.
hi.
Hey, and be sure to tune in every. When is it? When does it drop, Robert? Every Friday.
Funk just dropped.
Every Friday for Rachel Rose Yoga, a new healing. What's the word I'm looking for? Yoga that's taking place here on the free admission channel. All right. That once again, that's every Friday. Rachel Rose Yoga. Tune in. Get yourself some peace and harmony and sync in the world, where you will be able to deal with such monstrosities such as living in Stanton, where the homeless people outnumber the people who work. Namaste, motherfucker. All right.
It's
now,
also fun to watch while eating nachos.
The views and opinions of
So how much of that yoga have you been doing? Are you in
not enough, clearly, right? I'm sorry. Look what they've done to our city. Look at that. That's horrible. Look at that. There's not one good window in that in that building over there.
blame the
Look at the UFC gym. It's falling apart. Oh my god.
UFC gyms.
Like 24-hour fitness has ivy growing out of it over there.
just have
Disgusting.
kind of a post-apocalyptic flair.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's great when you're in the movies, but when you're actually living in a burned out. Anyway. Tree post. Namaste. All right.
There you go. Yeah.
I saw him on Raw this week.
So-
Post-apocalyptic flair.
Okay, so to completely contradict myself, Yoga Star and I drove all the way to San Diego to the Tango de Tutti Tango, something like that.
I think it's Tango Del Rey. Isn't it?
Tango Del Rey, that's right. Tango Del Rey down in San Diego to take in what I don't know how to explain it, so let's just show it to you. Ladies and gentlemen, we bring you Super Awesome Showdown, a space love story. Is that you? Billy Bonds? Oh.
And then you get the hard drive.
Someone's clearly been doing their abs. Okay, now, their wrestling ring, you'll notice how big it is.
There's like no room around that thing.
This match features Vic Valentine, if I'm not mistaken, and everyone knows her. That's Helga, right?
Are they open right now? So this was like this Saturday?
No, this was 2 years ago.
Oh.
Hilda, not Helga.
Okay.
Sorry.
You just hate all of my matches.
The Hilda
What are you talking
Wildschwein.
about? I ran yours last week.
Yeah, what he said.
It was like those 2 weeks ago.
Okay, and we ran a couple while you guys were out. I can't run theirs. I can't run TCS yet.
We have such a massive total.
As I figure out, okay, I promise next week I'll play some new matches. I'll play your Second Amendment match with Othello. Okay, as you can see, Hilda is milking it up, and I don't know the name of the guy with the porn stash, but the Tim Roth lookalike is, I don't know him either. All right, but this is Vic Valentine and Helga.
1,000.
Yeah, Hilda.
Hilda Wildschwein.
Electricity, Hollywood. Okay, now they refer to their wrestling ring as a battle grid, right? As you can see, it's this is like a cross between Flash Gordon and what is that ridiculous show?
Fox.
Rocky Horror Pictures. Fox News, yes, and I was going to say that.
And a really good
Hannity.
acid trip.
Yeah.
It also has a kaiju feel about it.
Yeah.
That's why I spent my Valentine's
Yeah,
Day.
what he said.
The reason I brought these chairs in is because I am holding this show hostage until Jackson Calhoun comes out here.
Feel free to join in, guys.
Submits to me.
Oh, listen to the
No
promo.
idea what's
Trying to
going on
figure out,
whatsoever
He
yet.
needs to come out here and say,
I'm curious why we don't have
Mr.
any
Big Valentine,
footage from people in our employ.
you should be.
Why would you
Or
do
within-
something? Why would you do something like that?
That would be wild.
Now you get it.
Remember when I wrestled Othello? God, that was good.
Yeah, I remember when you wrestled Othello.
So much
One
physical
of those
work
times
happening.
I got beaten with a briefcase.
Can we move past this promo a little bit, Robert, and get to the match?
Give him the roll.
You remember him?
I've wrestled him before.
Yes. What is his name?
Dynamo, I believe.
Dynamo.
yes.
Really nice kid.
I threw him on a skateboard half pipe, and I dunked him in a trash can. I threw him in a trash can. Hit him with a churro.
And Jackson Calhoun.
Like
This
that
was sweet
jacket.
Southern heat.
Boy, you were just
I beat him all over
dangerous.
the fair we were at.
Was that one of the pot shows?
Yeah, I beat him into the place where they sell the stuff, and then all the naked ladies came running out. It was funny as hell.
That was kind of loud.
Now that I would like to have been there.
You should have came.
Yeah.
How are
We
you
won
guys
too, by
doing
the way.
tonight?
Winner, chicken dinner.
That's exactly what I'm
Watching Battlestar Galactica and you say no thanks to
I mean, this looks like it was made by people on the drugs.
On the drugs.
on the drugs.
You know, I hadn't thought of it that way, but yes, it's,
You smoked the drugs.
You inject the reefer.
all right, we can go past this promo.
Those
I want to get to the
plebeians
match.
are chewing marijuana.
Yeah. I injected it.
My dad said someone asked him one time if he relates to the herb.
Devil's lettuce.
As you can see,
Got a
Dynamo's got Vic.
twist.
Was it Vic Valentine?
Reversal.
And then trading holes.
Oh,
They're even playing
breakdancing.
music. See, I was about 3 margaritas into it at this point,
Right.
so I.
This, I believe
Dance
this is colored
fever.
your perception.
Now I have to ask Azrael, being in the ring as long as you have, would the lights and all that, would that distract you in the ring?
It is hard to deal with. Like when we have the purge, when you have like the lights like right in my eye, like I can turn around and oh god.
No.
Yeah, I'm a little bit out of it for a second or two. But you got to adjust to it, and then you know where to look and where not to look. You wrestle by feel a lot too. I don't necessarily need vision because I got my hands on the guy. But there's a lot of air in between these two right now, so that's probably not going to help.
You look at.
I know the ref.
That ring is
He was in my Santino Brothers class.
that ring is larger than a regulation ring, isn't it?
That ring is about 25 feet. You know, the company itself actually made that ring. They built the ring. There are a lot of college engineers, engineering students, and they actually manufactured their own ring.
I mean, most guys are going to run from corner to corner, stop, take a breath, and then finish into that as a corner.
Someone's going to hand them water as they go.
I think it. Okay. So how do I win one of these?
I imagine you have to pin someone's shoulders to the mat.
Oh,
Because even in space, the referees wear stripes.
Grids help me at all? Like, do one of them explode or anything?
but no one can hear you scream.
Tell me one of the grids explodes.
There we go.
They should be worth
hey,
different
look,
points if you pin
look,
someone in a
they're
certain
almost
square.
fighting.
Yeah, like where you're points go.
Nice Beal.
Nice. She's very strong.
She really is. And, you know, she's a fantastic person.
She's got a big wide base there.
I think she's just coming off a bad knee injury. If
Yeah, she hurt her knee pretty. She had surgery, didn't she?
Yeah.
I believe so.
I think she's better.
Oh, missed that kick.
The wrestling right now. She'll get better.
Oh, a little bit flip flop and fly action.
Move! Ow!
Oh, bionic elbow by wasn't it Jackson
Big Valentine or Jackson Prescott?
Prescott? Yeah. Neckbreaker.
Jeez, we done it.
Took about 5 minutes for him to get her turned around.
John, what are your feelings? You were there. The blood was coursing through your veins. Along
Let me
with the
tell you.
alcohol.
Let me tell you
You were-
something. Let me tell you something. I absolutely had the best time at any wrestling show, and I'm going to tell you why. Because the people were there to have a good time and enjoy the show. You didn't have dipshits like, what is that idiot's name?
It doesn't.
It doesn't matter.
I worked in front of a lot of bars. Like the crowd was there, and like they're not
Yeah.
there for wrestling. They're just there for whatever.
Yeah.
And then like how you get a hold of them is an interesting thing. Like you can fight through the crowd, and then once you have them, oh, they start to enjoy what. But At the very beginning, the first match, they don't know what the hell to expect.
Exactly, and this look at the crowd. See how they're up there on the second floor.
But they are getting them. They're getting them to look, and that's how you introduce new fans too. Because not everybody's a wrestling fan. There's actually very few of us in number.
That's right.
Compared to the rest of the world.
Compared to the rest of the sports fans. I mean, even hockey after But the problem with like wrestling versus most sports is people outgrow wrestling. Typically, people don't outgrow football, baseball, basketball, right?
Well, I mean, there was a point where they wouldn't let me play anymore. Like, I kept trying, the dudes got bigger and bigger, and eventually I had to find something with some weight division.
No, what I mean when I say outgrowing, like watching it, if you started watching baseball when you were 5, there's a pretty good chance you're going to watch it till you're 105. Wrestling, people have a tendency to,
I actually went in spurts like that when I was a kid in the mid-'80s. That's when I first liked wrestling. I stopped watching, I quote-unquote outgrew it right after Warrior beat Hogan at WrestleMania, 5, 6, whatever it was. I didn't pick it up again. I became a huge boxing fan.
Yeah, I used to love boxing too.
I happened to be flipping through the channels at my girlfriend's house in 98.
Wait a minute, weren't you already married? Oh, you were at your girlfriend's house. Okay, gotcha.
And,
sorry.
And literally just happened, hadn't seen anything to do with wrestling in years, literally flipped on to USA when Mike Tyson and Stone Cold were having their shoving match.
Right.
And I've been back ever
since.
Rehooked.
Yep. Got rehooked. Well, that's good. The thing I like about this is obviously the colors, the flash, and just the overall attitude from both the wrestlers. And, they love what they're doing. They're not looking at the crowd and thinking, I don't have to. They're not thinking about their bump rate, their work rate. They're just wrestling, They're putting on a good show,
and it is dynamic. There's always something to see. I'll give them that.
And here's the thing: no one's going through a table, and you don't have some 500-pound dude bleeding all over another 500-pound dude.
Nobody's dropped from the rafters yet.
Exactly. No. Yeah, it isn't dirty. This is very slick and very. I don't know. I know you could say what you want about I don't care. Right? I absolutely had the most fun at this wrestling show than I have at anybody's wrestling show here in the States.
Well, what I'll say about...
ours is pretty good, though, right?
Yeah, but I never seem to have much fun.
Well, just sit down and quit walking around.
Yeah, let's do that. And then when you guys want to get paid at the end of the night, I'll be like, you know what? I was sitting the whole time. I didn't get a chance to collect any money.
What I'll say about this, and I already knew this about these guys, they're unapologetic.
Yes.
They are what they are.
Exactly.
They're not trying to be anything else. They are what they are. It's a fantasy, a total...
A space love adventure.
Drug-addled.
I will not say drugs.
You like the NWA so much.
I did.
And you think Shawn Michaels doesn't look like he could win a fight.
Yeah, and he couldn't. You know what?
But that doesn't seem to bother you in this case.
This is a whole different thing.
Well, here's the thing. There are some purists out there who would say, well, this is cartoony wrestling. This is 80s WWE wrestling. But it's not really. They've created their own mythos, actually, their own little world.
It's universe.
There you go.
It's like Star Wars.
Those are the same people.
That's why it's okay. I almost wouldn't even compare this.
Yeah. It's not like they're sticking this in the middle of
all wrestling.
Well, fair enough. I absolutely love it. I'm sorry. I absolutely love it.
But see, no, that wasn't a negative, though, is what I'm saying. It exists on its own plane.
Well, it's actually...
it's okay for that.
I forgot what they call it. They don't even call it professional wrestling. These people come from...
Super Showdown.
Yeah.
They have all sorts of, galactic storylines and all.
Intergalactic storylines. Come on, now, get it right.
I'm not an authority on it.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind doing a match with all the lights.
Yeah. Right?
But didn't you just say that was distracting?
It is. But I mean, I can live with it.
Right.
I can deal with it.
Probably pumps you up
people
too,
like
though.
it.
Probably gets you
it makes it look like there's more shit going on than there is.
Right.
Especially with the strobe
Make it a
lights.
little easier on you.
They do just call their events showdowns.
Showdowns?
Yeah.
There you go.
Are they watching? Are any of them watching?
Make her eat the backbreaker.
Are any of them watching right now? Amanda or any of them?
GCF, send in some footage. Let's play some GCF matches. Marcellus Wallace, give me access to your tape library.
Marcellus Wallace.
Pretty sure that's his name.
He left his briefcase here. We're gonna have to check that out in a while.
Miss Rachel says it's a musical wrestling show because was there a band there as well?
Yes.
Oh, are they playing live? Is the band live? That's that I hear.
I think it is.
What if you got on that chandelier and leg dropped somebody?
Nah, see, that's the kind of stuff we're talking about not doing.
Oh,
Nobody's
let me
dropped
have my
from
fun.
all the way.
So there's a live band and there's wrestling.
Oh,
It's like a
there's
rock
balconies
and
all-
wrestling connection.
Billy Bonds. There's balconies all over this place.
It's surrounded by a balcony.
I can do at least 6.
Oh yeah. I'm surprised no one did. Actually, I'm not surprised no one did.
That would be a
These all seemed like very intelligent people. So they seemed like it.
Oh!
Or I'm up to cut in the corner.
Intelligence is in the eye of the beer holder.
Yes, in this case it was margaritas. And
We'll call that the take one because of the move he did before. He did the whole clapboard thing. Vic Valentine?
oh, the spear.
I don't get the skinny guys doing the spears.
He looks like Edge.
He looks like Edge, yeah.
Razor's Edge.
I don't want to see Edge do it either.
It was always weird to me too, but he did it off the ladder and then they ran with it from there. It's not always off the ladder now, is it?
Goldberg, Reigns. I'm not even saying they do them well, but they
it makes
look
a lot.
like they should be doing it. They run over the guy.
Well, it makes more sense than slapping your ass when you throw a kick.
My 2 cents is I was never a fan of the spear in general.
Huh?
I was never a fan of the spear in general. To me, it's a glorified tackle.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah. I'm
So it's the shoulder block.
boom.
The reason I lose myself with laughter every time you say it is because about the slapping.
Oh, yeah, slapping your
I
ass.
emphatically agree.
Oh,
and
it's
just
garbage.
Freaking hilarious. Randy Orton likes to talk about that.
He makes fun of it a lot.
Yeah,
and then
good.
he did the punt in front of everybody who did it. Because he's like, you F you guys.
It's like, how about you slap yourself when you do that too?
Apparently, Super Awesome Showdown doesn't have a lot of rules about, double teaming and stuff. Because the ref's not doing anything.
The ref looks like he might be in a little bit of pain and can't really move.
Don't get
Got
me
something
started.
attached to his head.
Nice. All right. Missile drop kick. Get him. All right. Get him.
You would think someone.
Hey!
There's a little bit, just like a flavor of lucha in their wrestling.
Yeah, yep. And some Japanese stuff
Pay
too.
attention and count.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. The referee's a robot.
He's a robot?
I'm guessing so because he just malfunctioned and went in the corner.
Oh, what the?
That's why he's facing. He's
gonna have a stroke.
I thought he was in
I'm
timeout.
having a stroke.
No, she hit him with some nerve thing to the neck.
Oh, she hit his off button.
Ooh, brainbuster.
Boom! Right on his head. That'll teach him.
Oh, he is a robot. You're right. Absolutely.
Okay.
And that's
Of course,
look at that.
of course, I got to tell you.
Fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic. All right. Well, let us know what you think of that match if you were able to watch it the whole way through. I absolutely adore Super Awesome Showdown, and I think if you get a chance, if you're in the San Diego area, or if you get some time to drive down to their next show, I don't know when they're going to be doing it again. Hopefully, like everyone else, their city doesn't look like this shithole known as Stanton, home of Orange County's homeless, right? I want to thank you all for watching. The video game portion of our show is down for the count today.
Ran out of quarters. I did.
And I want to get some parting thoughts. First from Billy Bonds. Okay, so after we saw that match, right? Now, do you have kids?
No.
Okay.
I'm not as. He's not that old. We're not related.
I was going to ask you if you had kids, but
Wow,
I don't have
guilty
kids.
conscience.
I didn't want to open that jar of worms, right? That would be something that you could take your kids to and have a really good time, right?
That would be something I would take my kids to.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go. I'll
It's a bar,
I'll
though.
go that far.
Is that even legal? It's a bar.
That's a really good question.
You
I don't know.
could literally not take a child.
So,
in there.
like, what for that bar wrestling? That bar wrestling?
Oh God.
Can you not take kids to that either?
Well, you
Bump-
no,
bumps and bruises?
no, you can't.
I wouldn't.
No, but they're
but I
bars.
could or
Why
not.
is it that bad?
No, bar wrestling's closed now. For
Well, I know
some
that,
reason.
but I mean, was it like not the kind of thing you would take a kid to?
You can't because it's a bar.
Okay.
Well, plus
Pretty
the
sure.
stuff that was going there. No, it was not. It was
The
definitely
content was
It
not-
was not family.
It's an 18
friendly.
and
Okay,
over or 21 and over at least. show.
I see. Okay. So, okay. What do you think? What do you think of Super Awesome Showdown?
Like I said, they exist kind of on their own plane in their
Right.
own universe. They make no bones about what they are. They're not even trying to be whatever it is I might be complaining that they're not.
I like that. That's a
so
very open-minded way of looking at it.
for that and only for that, I'll give them a pass. Like I said, I'd bring my kids to that.
All right. You. I think we know what you think.
Yeah, I'm
That's
gonna decline.
Well, I think we've made enough enemies for over the last 2 weeks. All right. What do you think, Lex?
I think that that it's a great idea for a show that they're doing. One of the cool things about it is they can put people on their show that may not have as much experience as someone else, but because they're in this mythos, in this world they created, that can actually cover some possible inadequacies in the ring.
Sure. Right. Like kind of like the glow thing, right?
Cover
Yeah.
a lot. The
Yeah.
production could cover a lot.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap it up from here. I want to tell you, I know each and every one of you have many choices in your viewing queue, and I want to thank you for taking the time. You can binge watch, you can binge eat, you can binge drink, but you've taken the time to watch our show, and I want to thank you. I want to wish you all safe and happy times, deliverance from this COVID madness, and I want to wish you all profitability when the world starts spinning again, and I wish that all of you take all of your bumps